Hello everybody, welcome back to more Political Excess. Today I thought I'd take a look at some of the community polls that I've put up. I started doing this a little bit before the midterms, asking about specific races, and since then I've asked about a variety of different political topics, certain issues, certain candidates, certain predictions. I try to keep enough variety on there. I don't try to go hard in one direction, and it seems like I've gotten a lot of votes, and for the most part, gotten a lot of great comments. There's different opinions, but I hope people feel freely able to share their views. I do like getting feedback, whether it's just through the voting or through the comments, so I figured today we'll go back and look through some of these polls. I know some channels use their community tab for a lot of different content. I've kept mine just to the polls to try to make it simple. So let me know if you do enjoy these polls. Every several days or so you get a new one, and I try to respond to the majority of the comments. So I'm not going to look at the recent polls. We'll just do the ones that are over a month old. We'll give the newer ones some more time to get some more votes. So we'll try to do this once in a while. Not sure how often, but feedback is appreciated. Couldn't do this without the comments and without the votes. So this is all from the community. So let's see what the oldest one we've got here is. Better chance to win the 2024 GOP primary. We've got Donald Trump at 45%, Ron DeSantis at 55%. Now, that was from a couple of months ago. That was after the midterms. At that point, Ron DeSantis looked like he was the stronger candidate, and I think he probably still is. But I think that's before DeSantis jumps in. I think once he jumps in, then all bets are off. Trump would come after him, and I don't know what would happen. So this is a close poll. DeSantis had that landslide win in Florida, so I understand people thinking he has a lot of momentum now. The next question is, what is your opinion on mailing ballots to all registered voters? Got 18% strongly support, 51% strongly oppose. And that comes out to 28% support, 64% oppose, 8% neutral. So I know there's arguments on both sides to this. I can understand some people thinking, yeah, if we can perfectly verify everything, more people participating in the voting process, that has to be a good thing. Mail them on out. There is that side to it. More people, though, here seem to think that mass mailing out ballots opens up much more of a possibility for something happen, and it would be harder to verify or track. There's just far too many anecdotal stories of there being ballot issues to feel really confident about mailing them all out. So there's not a lot of support for mass mailing them, at least on my channel. Next, we've got, what is your opinion on voter ID? This has 74% strongly support, only 4% strongly oppose. This generally correlates with national polls that do show even a majority of Democrats support voter ID. So I don't think this is overly controversial, even though it does get played up like that in the media, and that is unfortunate. I think the wording here is also not totally clear. There could be photo ID or non-photo ID. Then there's also signing affidavits if you lack an ID. Then there's which kinds of IDs are accepted. There's a lot more to it than just voter ID. I think the general sentiment here is people are okay verifying who you are when you're voting. There's a lot at stake. I can understand wanting to make it easier, but at some point we do have to be sure who people are. The next question is, what will happen with Chuck Grassley on his next term? 12% resign before his term ends. 46% think he will die in office. 25% think he will retire at the end of his term. 18% think he will run for re-election yet again. So this is pretty gloomy for Grassley. Almost half of these votes think he's going to die in office. It's definitely a possibility. There's 6 years left. He's going to be in his 90s during most of that term. You hate to see somebody die in office, but there is a good chance it could happen here with Grassley. Next, will Dianne Feinstein run for re-election? 25% no, 75% yes. There's been news about this lately with Katie Porter announcing her Senate bid. A lot of establishment Democrats seem to be against that idea because Dianne Feinstein hasn't made up her mind yet. And speaking of her mind, a lot of people do think she has mentally declined. So I understand the majority thinking she is going to retire. But then again, maybe she'll be motivated by Chuck Grassley running again. But either way, I think there's going to be a lot of competition for that Senate seat in California. Next, is there any chance Joe Manchin becomes an independent or Republican before the next election? We've got 38% no chance, 49% small chance, 13% decent chance. You never know what's going to happen with this kind of thing, but it does seem like it's unlikely, and the results here reflect that. It seems like there's a small chance at best for Manchin to leave the Democrats. Next, we've got Georgia runoff margin. 38% did think it was going to be 3 points or more. 16% thought Walker was going to win. I believe the actual margin was 2.8%. So to those 20% that got it right, you seem to really know your Georgia politics. Next question. What is your opinion on making Washington, D.C. a state? 21% strongly support, another 10% support, 53% strongly oppose. So the vast majority on this poll are against it. And down in the comments, there's people that have strong opinions on both sides. They should have representation, there's no question about it. And other people think that it's inherently going to be overtly political at this point, just to bolster the Democratic Party. If these people were going to vote for Republicans, almost everyone's opinions would be reversed. And another option is giving the land back to Maryland and Virginia. I think that's probably the best compromise, even if they don't want the land back. I think part of that reason is they want to bolster the Democratic support. But I think anything at this point that fundamentally changes the rules to give another party an outright electoral advantage, that would be an intensely fought battle. Whether it's the right thing to do or not, that would invariably give the Democrats a lot more support. Even giving the land back to Virginia and Maryland will also give them a little bit more support. And there's other comments about D.C. being a federal district. You're not supposed to live in it. Other people say that's from a long time ago. The times have changed. I get it. This is a big issue, and I appreciate the results. I'm also a little bit disappointed. I don't think anybody said 50 states, that's the perfect round number. Going to 51, that would completely throw everything off. So not to spend too much time on this controversial one. The next one is, what's your opinion on making English the official language of the U.S.? 48% strongly support, 9% strongly oppose, 22% neutral, 59% support or strongly support, only 19% oppose or strongly oppose. And I know it's the de facto official language, but there's no national law that establishes this. And I remember back in the day there was some debate about this. I think it went something along the lines of Democrats thought it would be unwelcoming to establish an official language. Republicans think that having an official common language, that is something you've got to aspire to if you want to have a cohesive nation. And ultimately, I don't think it went anywhere. Even if it's a symbolic vote, I don't think necessarily having an official language is some kind of bad idea. Next, this asks about Sinema running for re-election in Arizona. 82% yes, 18% no. This was right after she announced she's becoming an independent. It's still unclear what she's going to do. I would guess she would run for election, but again, you never know. There's going to be a lot of focus on that Democratic primary as well as the Republican primary, and that could be one of the biggest Senate battles in 24. And the last one here from 1 month ago is asking about your opinion on Elon Musk taking over Twitter so far. 42% strongly support, 21% strongly oppose, another 14% support, 9% oppose, 13% neutral. I think there's legitimate criticisms to be had of Elon Musk, including him taking over Twitter, but I also think there were a lot of legitimate criticisms before he took over. The media does seem to be hyper-focused on anything since Musk has taken over, as long as it casts Musk in a negative light, and that is unfortunate. That tells me he's at least doing something positive, and he's released a lot of documents from the Twitter files. A lot of the mainstream media doesn't really want to care about it. I think there's been some stuff that's been revealing there, especially anything related to the federal government and Twitter censorship. And it's inevitable that there's going to be people trying to find a line where Musk finds that he has to actually impose some censorship. Anybody would do that. It was already happening well before Musk. Musk might look a little bit hypocritical if he was supposed to be a free speech absolutist, but from what I recall, a lot of people technically think what he was against was reasonable. They just didn't like it came after he said he was way into free speech. Now, some journalists he's blocked, that I would not be in favor of. I think that would be a big problem. But I still think it's very early on for Musk. Let's give him a year, maybe 2 years, see what develops. And as I said, he's kind of the media's newest villain, so I don't think he's going to get any positive coverage. I'm not a fan of that at all, but it does seem like there's kind of a split reaction here on this poll, but more people do support it. So I try to lay out both sides of a lot of these different questions. I can understand a lot of other points of view, even if I don't necessarily share them or if I even outright disagree. I still usually like to understand where people are coming from. So that's a recap of these community polls that are over a month old. Let me know in the comments, do you enjoy these polls? Do you like the variety of different topics? Are there some of these questions you like a lot more than others? And are there some you don't really like much? And do you like these recap videos once in a while where we go through and see what the results are? Let me know down below, and on your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.